Adolf Hitler's early life was marked by upheaval and discontent. Born in Austria in 1889, he experienced a tumultuous childhood. His family moved frequently, and he struggled in school. At the age of 16, Hitler dropped out of school and moved to Vienna, harboring dreams of becoming an artist. Vienna, at the turn of the century, was a melting pot of cultures and ideologies. It was also a city grappling with social and economic tensions. Hitler, a young man with a volatile temperament, found himself drawn to the city's undercurrents of nationalism and anti-Semitism. He spent his days drifting, consuming political pamphlets and attending rallies. These formative years in Vienna would profoundly shape Hitler's worldview. He developed a deep resentment towards the Austro-Hungarian Empire's multi-ethnic society, which he blamed for Germany's perceived decline. This resentment, coupled with his growing anti-Semitism, formed the bedrock of his future political ideology. The outbreak of World War I in 1914 proved to be a turning point in Hitler's life. Before the war, he was a struggling artist living in Vienna, grappling with poverty and obscurity. The war offered him a sense of purpose and belonging that he had never experienced before. He volunteered for the German army, seeing the war as an opportunity to prove his patriotism. For Hitler, enlisting was not just a duty, but a chance to escape his previous failures and to be part of something greater than himself. He served as a dispatch runner on the Western Front, experiencing the horrors of trench warfare firsthand. The brutal conditions, constant danger, and the camaraderie among soldiers profoundly affected him. These experiences would later shape his worldview and his approach to leadership. The war, with its brutality and carnage, left an indelible mark on Hitler's psyche. The relentless bombardments, the sight of fallen comrades, and the pervasive sense of death and destruction were seared into his memory. During his service, Hitler was awarded the Iron Cross for bravery, a testament to his courage under fire. This recognition boosted his self-esteem and reinforced his belief in his own destiny as a leader. However, he was also deeply affected by Germany's defeat in 1918. The armistice and subsequent surrender were a crushing blow to his sense of national pride. He saw the defeat as a betrayal by the Weimar Republic, Germany's new democratic government, which he believed had stabbed the army in the back. This stab-in-the-back myth became a central theme in his rhetoric. This sense of betrayal, fueled by his wartime experiences, further radicalized Hitler. He became increasingly involved in nationalist and anti-Semitic groups, seeking to restore Germany's former glory. The post-war period in Germany was a time of political and economic turmoil. The country was in chaos, with various factions vying for power and the economy in shambles. The country faced hyperinflation, unemployment, and social unrest. The German mark became virtually worthless, and many people lost their life savings overnight. The Treaty of Versailles, which officially ended the war, imposed harsh penalties on Germany, including territorial losses and crippling reparations payments. These conditions humiliated the nation and fueled widespread resentment. These conditions created a fertile ground for extremist ideologies, including Hitler's burgeoning National Socialism. He capitalized on the public's discontent, promising to restore Germany's power and prestige. In 1919, a young and disillusioned Adolf Hitler joined a small fringe political party called the German Workers' Party, or DAP. At the time, Germany was reeling from the devastating effects of World War I, and the Treaty of Versailles had imposed harsh penalties on the nation, leading to widespread economic hardship and social unrest. The party's platform resonated deeply with Hitler's own beliefs: German nationalism, anti-Semitism, and a vehement opposition to the Treaty of Versailles. These ideas were not unique to Hitler, but he saw in the DAP a vehicle to amplify his voice and spread his ideology. Hitler quickly rose through the ranks due to his fervent speeches and organizational skills. By 1921 he had become the party's leader and renamed it the National Socialist German Workers' Party, commonly known as the Nazi Party. This rebranding was strategic, aiming to attract a broader base of support. Hitler possessed a charismatic personality and a powerful speaking voice. His ability to connect with the emotions of his audience was unparalleled, and he used this talent to great effect. He was a gifted orator, capable of captivating audiences with his fiery rhetoric and promises of national revival. His speeches often played on the fears and hopes of the German people, promising a return to former glory and a solution to their current woes. He tapped into the widespread anger and resentment felt by many Germans in the wake of the war and the economic crisis. The Weimar Republic, struggling to maintain stability, became an easy target for Hitler's blame. Under Hitler's leadership, the Nazi Party grew rapidly in size and influence. His ability to mobilize and inspire people led to a surge in membership, transforming the party from a small fringe group into a formidable political force. He organized grand rallies, published extensive propaganda, and established paramilitary groups like the Sturmabteilung or SA, also known as the Brown Shirts. These groups played a crucial role in the Nazi Party's rise to power. The SA, with its street brawls and intimidation tactics, created an atmosphere of fear and violence, further destabilizing the already fragile Weimar Republic. This climate of chaos and uncertainty allowed Hitler to position himself as the strong leader Germany needed, paving the way for his eventual rise to power. Hitler's rise to power was not solely due to his charisma or the economic conditions in Germany. While these factors certainly played a role, they were part of a much larger and more complex strategy that Hitler and his inner circle meticulously crafted. The economic turmoil of the 1920s and 1930s, including the Great Depression, created a fertile ground for radical ideas and extremist leaders. People were desperate for solutions, and Hitler offered them a vision of a restored and powerful Germany. He was a master propagandist, skillfully exploiting the anxieties and prejudices of the German people. His ability to tap into the collective fears and hopes of the nation was unparalleled. He understood the power of symbols, slogans, and imagery, and used them to create a compelling narrative that resonated deeply with the masses. His propaganda was not just about spreading information. It was about shaping perceptions and manipulating emotions. He used the relatively new medium of radio to broadcast his messages far and wide, bypassing traditional media outlets. This allowed him to reach millions of people directly in their homes, creating a sense of intimacy and personal connection. The radio became a powerful tool in his arsenal, enabling him to control the narrative and drown out opposing voices. His speeches were carefully crafted to evoke strong emotional responses, often leaving listeners feeling both inspired and fearful. His speeches, often laced with emotional appeals and outright lies, resonated with a population desperate for a strong leader. He promised to restore Germany's former glory, to bring order out of chaos, and to provide a sense of purpose and direction. His rhetoric was filled with grandiose visions of a new era, a Third Reich that would last 1,000 years. He portrayed himself as the savior of the nation, the only one capable of leading Germany to greatness. One of Hitler's most effective tactics was to create a sense of fear and paranoia. He understood that fear could be a powerful motivator, driving people to seek security and stability at any cost. By constantly highlighting threats, both real and imagined, he was able to keep the population in a state of constant anxiety. This made them more willing to accept his radical solutions and to support his aggressive policies. He claimed that Germany was under threat from internal and external enemies, Jews, communists, liberals, and the victors of World War I. These groups were portrayed as the root cause of all of Germany's problems, from economic hardship to social unrest. By identifying these scapegoats, Hitler was able to unite the population against a common enemy, diverting attention away from the real issues and consolidating his own power. He scapegoated these groups, blaming them for Germany's problems, and portraying himself as the only one who could save the nation. This narrative of victimhood and redemption was central to his appeal. It allowed him to present his policies of aggression and expansion as necessary measures for the survival and prosperity of the German people. His ability to manipulate public opinion and to create a sense of urgency in crisis was key to his success. The Nazi Party's propaganda machine relentlessly promoted the myth of Aryan supremacy, portraying Germans as a superior race destined to rule. This ideology was used to justify a wide range of policies, from the persecution of minorities to the expansion of German territory. It created a sense of pride and entitlement among the German people, reinforcing their support for Hitler's regime. The idea of racial purity and superiority became a central tenet of Nazi belief, shaping the actions and attitudes of millions. Jews, on the other hand, were demonized as a parasitic race, accused of undermining German society and plotting world domination. This dehumanization made it easier for the Nazis to justify their increasingly brutal policies, culminating in the Holocaust. The relentless propaganda campaign against the Jews created an environment in which hatred and violence could flourish, leading to unimaginable suffering and loss. This hateful ideology, fueled by Hitler's own twisted worldview, would have catastrophic consequences for millions of people. The Holocaust stands as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked hatred and bigotry. It is a testament to the destructive power of propaganda and the importance of vigilance in the face of such ideologies. The lessons of this dark chapter in history must never be forgotten, lest we allow such horrors to be repeated.